Welcome back. April 26th is National Arbor Day, and Danny Hartwig from the Missouri Department of Conservation stopped by to talk to us about some events you can participate in. How are you doing this morning?
Doing great. Thanks.
Great. So can you just explain what Arbor Day is and kind of explain the difference between National and Missouri?
Sure. Yeah, Arbor Day actually began back in the 1870s. A guy named J. Sterling Morton, who'd moved out to Nebraska, loved planting trees, working in his garden and stuff, and got together with some friends and started making a push to have a national day for planting trees. And he was successful, so Missouri soon followed, as well as many other states. And now Arbor Day is celebrated not only in several of the states, the United States of America, but also in countries across the world.
Right. I remember doing a lot of different events when I was little too. Going out and planting trees and stuff. And
yes.
So what are some benefits to trees?
Oh gosh, there's so many. Really, several of the things that people really think about is how it can affect their heating and cooling bills around their house.
Right.
Well-placed shade trees can reduce your air conditioning costs up to 30%. A well-placed windbreak can reduce your heating costs in the winter by 25%. So there are not only those, but then there are things such as hospital patients who have a view of trees out their window recover quicker. Students in college who have a natural landscape outside their window can score higher on tests.
That's why I did so well in college.
That must be it.
I had a lot of trees outside my window.
So there are all types of things. There are studies that have shown that crime is actually reduced in neighborhoods that have a lot of trees.
Wow, that's something I did not even think about, especially with crime.
Absolutely. So over the lifetime of a tree, it really creates a huge economic impact for all of us.
Okay, so what are some good trees to plant around this area?
Well, around this area, people always ask, what's the great, fast-growing tree that I can get that's going to shade my house and be strong and live forever? And there's not a magic tree that instantly grows to 50 feet. And so typically what you get is either fast-growing trees that are softer and tend to break up and decay quicker, or you get slow-growing, strong species like the oaks. There are over 21 species of oaks in Missouri, and most of those can be planted here. Things like white oak, northern red oak are some of the top favorites. If you want to talk about smaller trees, just ornamental trees, red buds, serviceberries are great trees to plant in your yard.
Okay, so do you see a lot of oak trees around this area?
Absolutely, and when you look at our forests here in North Missouri, that's what the majority of them are, is oak and hickory forests, and so it just is natural to think that those trees are going to do well in your yard as well.
All right, so is there a proper way to plant a tree?
Yes, absolutely, and the one big mistake that most folks make is that they plant their trees too deep. And this doesn't matter whether you're getting a balled and burlap tree from a nursery or some of the bare root seedlings that just come from our nursery, that are just the roots. They want to stick them too far in the ground. And what that eventually leads to is decay around the trunk, and your tree's not doing well. So what we always tell people is to find, if you think about when you look at a tree that's planted in your yard or out in the forest, there's typically that natural little swell at the bottom. Well, what you do is you just find that on the tree that you're planting, and you make sure that you get that right at ground level. That's the biggest thing.
Basically,
it's not
the tree's kind of telling you where
Yeah, absolutely. It really is telling you where it wants to be. The other thing is, if you are planting a larger tree, a balled and burlap tree, or a tree that comes in a pot, you want to dig your hole bigger than what the roots actually are.
Okay.
What we typically say is about 3 times the size of the root ball. You want to dig your hole out for planting your tree, and then as you place your tree in there and you work the soil back in, then everything can set up nicely and the roots have a nice place to grow.
Great. Well, thank you so much. Everyone should go out, plant some trees. It's a good family, little event.